All right, we got You Should Like SBMM, Skills Based Matchmaking from LMG Clips. Oh boy. So I'm kind of late to the party, but let me watch this thing in its entirety first.
Matchmaking is just plain better. In response to discourse condemning skills-based matchmaking, Activision has released a 25-page white paper revealing...
Wait, what'd he say?
Matchmaking is just plain better. In response to discourse condemning skills-based matchmaking, Activision...
Ooh. Activision-based study. Oh, let me hear this.
has released a 25-page white paper revealing a secret experiment.
Oh. So, the guys that have literally brought skills-based matchmaking into the modern audience, so much so that they have their own patent pending, or patent on the game, or on the system of skills-based matchmaking, has released a study that says you should like this. Oh, I'm about to, yeah, okay.
Where they massively reduced the impact of skill in matchmaking for half of Modern Warfare 3 players in North America. According to their results, around 90% of players had lower overall playtime and were more likely to quit during matches, with only the most skilled of players being unaffected by the change. Now, hold on, because I want to back up and say,
Oh boy.
other than reading the words together in the order they're in, I don't actually know exactly what skills-based matchmaking means in this context.
Yeah, I got you.
And why anybody would be upset about it.
Sure.
Hit me.
So,
Okay, here we go.
Completely non-skills-based matchmaking. It's not really matchmaking, but like completely non would just be like pub servers back in the day. You have a dedicated server list. You jump into whatever server's there. You're playing with those players. A matchmaking version of that would just be filling random lobbies with people automatically, but based on
FIFO.
nothing. Yeah, exactly. First in, first out.
I had no idea what FIFO was. First in, first out. Okay. Complete randomness. Okay.
Skills-based matchmaking would be that you would have some type of like MMR, a matchmaking ranking.
Sure.
And in this case, it would probably be hidden. So you don't necessarily know what your matchmaking ranking is, but it's going to match you up with people that are similar to your ranking as best as it can.
Okay, so then follow-up question.
Okay. Great explanation for what skills-based matchmaking is. I mean, and you know, this paper's only covering skills-based matchmaking. If you've played FPSs, you know there are other sorts of matchmaking systems like engagement-based or engagement-optimized matchmaking, where the goal of the system is to just simply keep you around and playing longer, irregardless of your enjoyment. That system does exist in certain games.
Who the actual donkey fuck thinks that skills-based matchmaking is a bad idea?
Okay. So, number one, no one has an issue with skills-based matchmaking when it comes to ranked lobbies of your favorite FPS. It is actually encouraged to have skills-based matchmaking when it comes to the ranked version of your favorite FPS. And understandably, Linus is not an avid FPS player, so I can understand why he actually likes the idea of skills-based matchmaking. But it's okay, we're chilling. So we switch to the brush. We do this. Let's go this. Go line. Other line. Wham. We got brush. Where's like the tippy top? There's that. There's this. That. Like a good chunk of people here, and then it just like falls off. There's a good chunk of people here, and then it just falls off. Basic bell curve. Most people are gonna be in here. All right, let's say this is like your halfway point. And then you have like some amount, like what is this like? And then you have like this, and then you got like that. You got like, this is like 4%. This is like 1%. 1% is another 4%. So it's like 5, 10. You got like 5, that's 10. And then you have the 90%, which is like right here, right in the middle. You know, you got like 45 right there. Got like 45 right there. Great. Okay. Skills-based matchmaking benefits everybody on this side of the dotted line. Skills-based matchmaking works against you on this side of the line. Why does it do that? So, whenever you play an FPS, for whatever reason, if a game is discovered that it has skills-based matchmaking, it always has skills-based matchmaking in all of its, game modes. All right, they will be like strict, like 100% SBMM in the ranked version of the game, and maybe like, I don't know, 0.4 or like 0.5% of SBMM in, I don't know, like the casual side of like the public matches of it. So it's not weighted as strictly. It's not trying as hard to find people of similar skill rank, like to your people, or not to your people. It's not trying as hard to figure out to like, oh, this guy is kind of in your skill bracket, that guy is kind of in your skill bracket. It's not like the system isn't just trying as hard. It's like, oh, okay, you can come over here. You're fine. You're great. You're good. Whatever. Just get in there. Just go. Okay. This system, the 100%, this is fine for ranked. The issue is that whenever you go to play something that's not ranked, it still feels like it feels like dog shit, because the public, I was gonna say whatever. I was gonna say the public matches, the random casual matches, also feel just as sweaty as the ranked version of your favorite FPS. That is the annoying part. If you just get done playing ranked and your favorite FPS, and you just want to like chill out, play a fun game, whatever, you still have to deal with, SBMM at like half strength. So you are still having to sweat a little bit. All right. I am 100% fine with, with the skill-based matchmaking in the ranked mode. But in the casual mode, I don't think there should be any skill-based matchmaking at all. This is ridiculous. All right, and it's even exacerbated when your favorite FPS game doesn't have a healthy amount of casual fun game modes. All right, if your favorite FPS just has the ranked mode and the non-ranked mode, you are shit out of luck for casual, just fun FPS shit. So much to the point where I would say, if you're trying to cool down, don't even play your favorite ranked game or ranked FPS game casually. Do not. If you want to chill out and still play FPS, there are a ton of other casual FPS games, even single player, that offer way better experiences than the casual non-ranked version of your favorite FPS. Full stop. And that is stupid on the developer's part, because it's one of the goals of the developer to keep you in the ecosystem of your favorite FPS game, even at all times. That's their goal. All right. So when you're like, just get done doing like your little ranked grind session or whatever, or like, let's say you're trying to warm up doing like some casual shit, and then you jump into ranked, and then you want to like keep playing, but like, I don't feel like doing ranked. That's too sweaty. That's like, and then you trying to go into like some casual mode, and you're still sweating your dick off. That is wasted time, and you are just simply not enjoying yourself at all. But it is understandable for me to see that Linus thinks that skills-based matchmaking benefits him 100%, because he is on that the left side of the bell curve. All right, on the left side of the bell curve, you are getting carried. On the right side of the bell curve, you are doing the carrying. All right, there, I said it.
I think like
is this not complete? Like, is this controversial? Like, is this a
there
hot
are
take?
people there.
Yes, it is, Mr. Tech Tip.
I don't know if it's a hot take for the actual average person necessarily.
For the average person, they fall in the center. And if they're leaning on the right side, they'll probably lean on, I don't want to carry. You need to carry your own weight. And then if they lean on the left side, they're like, oh yeah, skill-based matchmaking. Oh yeah, I randomly get like really goated players all the time.
But there is definitely a loud amount of people that don't like skills-based matchmaking.
Yeah.
I know that.
For what?
Because the loud people are probably the skilled people, and the people that don't give a shit are probably the low-skilled people.
Reason exactly?
I don't know necessarily.
It's the same issue that's going on with World of Warcraft. It's the same issue, same bell curve, same everything. There are people that want to get carried and people that do not want to carry but are forced to carry. That's the issue. People are putting in too much effort and not getting a return. People putting in not enough effort and getting a lot of return.
I can think of like, I think it would be maybe hard, unless the matchmaking rank that you have is public. Which I know some people don't like that, because then they feel like they're constantly playing ranked, which you technically are.
Yeah.
You just don't know that. But unless...
Yes, and I don't think it really benefits anybody to know the actual stats and the actual bullet points of every single solitary thing that makes up your MMR. Because if everybody knew all of those little bullet points, they would just cheese the system.
Unless it's public, to me, a negative feeling that could come from it is that you feel like you're constantly on this treadmill of skill, where you never really feel like you're getting that much better compared to other people, because the game is constantly pairing you with people that are of the same goodness.
Yeah.
Right. So by their logic, anyone should be allowed to be in the Olympic freestyle swimming finals? And if one person happens to be really good, then like, and one person can barely swim, that's like, are you entertained by this? Like, sorry, what?
I do think every Olympics should have like an army of like Jim Bobs that are just like.
The Olympics should have like a regular guy, just like on like the 100-meter, just have a regular dude, not even like a gym bro. Just take an average guy, have him just run as fast as he humanly can, just for a reference point, just so you can understand how fast these motherfuckers are running at the 100-meter. Okay.
Average dudes, and they just show them alongside the Olympians to like show the gap. I would.
Yeah, or like imagine doing that shit with like pole vaulting or like gymnastics. Just have like a regular person even try to do a pole vault. They're just gonna eat shit. Have somebody try to do like the gymnastics, like pommel horse. They're not even gonna be able to push themselves up with just their arms.
I would actually like. I know this.
Or bro, have like a regular person jump off like the diving board and see how big their splash is versus how tiny the Olympic level person's splash is.
This is not an original idea. People have been saying this for years. I would love it if it happened. Because like you see these people perform and you're like, that's cool.
Yeah.
But like maybe this is some sport I've never seen before, or like I never really understood the gap. Like you see someone dive and they have like 3 droplets come out of the water, and you're like, is that good?
Yeah, you don't know how good somebody is unless you see something that also there as a reference to someone that is completely unskilled at it. It's like you're comparing the polar opposite sides of the bell curve. The top 1/10 of 1% versus the guy that has never done it. The person that's never done it.
And then you see some like random dude just flop. It's like a huge wave. And you're like, oh, okay. So there's actually like, there's difficulty here. I think that would be fantastic. But anyway.
Shit, Olympics can hire me to do that shit. I'll be that guy. I mean, but I go to the gym though, so I'm not like really. God damn it! I was gonna say I'm not that average. I'm like a little above average, but like, god dang it, I am. Even though I go to the gym, I am like not really athletic at all.
Anyways, I don't really get the argument. I prefer skills-based matchmaking.
Like, and the thing is,
oh, he just outed himself too. I prefer Linus prefers skills-based matchmaking, and sorry, I don't know this person's name. This dude doesn't mind skills-based matchmaking, so you automatically out yourself as being on the left side, the low skill side of the bell curve. So, and there's nothing wrong with that. If you really truly like an FPS and you want to get better at it, I mean, then you get better at it. You know, that's it.
I honestly speaking, like to me, this is so. And I'm so sorry if it. I sound like such an.
I would also hope these guys. Let's take Apex for example. I would also hope that these guys don't make the argument of, oh, I can't casually get a 4K damage badge or a 20 kill badge in Apex. Casually, I can't. All right, that is stupid. Everybody doesn't deserve to have a 4K damage badge. Everybody doesn't deserve to have a 20 kill badge. Right? Those things are hard to get. It takes actual effort, and anybody that has actually gotten those, it's not on controller, have had to put the most amount of effort into getting those. You don't get these like really high level accolade things casually with low effort. No, that does not happen.
Sometimes because sometimes things just seem really obvious to me, and then I say like, isn't this obvious? And then people are like, wow, Linus is mean. That wasn't obvious.
There are things about skill-based matchmaking that makes things less interesting to me personally, for sure.
But okay,
like what?
Hold on. Let me back up for a second, because maybe part of it is just my lived experiences that make this obvious to me. There's a local badminton tournament. It's called Badmintology, and they usually do about 2 to 4 tournaments a year, and that's what I signed up for when I did my very first badminton competition. And they had they're gamers, they're memers, it's a young group that runs it. And so the way that they divided their brackets was blue shell, red shell, and green shell. And the description was blue shell is for competitive players at a very high level. Like if you've ever competed provincially or nationally, so this is
Mario Kart.
You should be in here. Yeah, exactly. Red shell was if you play regularly and compete hard, and green shell was for if you are just getting into the sport and you're looking for a friendly competition.
Okay, that is fine. This like entire self-regulation type of deal, that's fine. Nobody really has an issue, and people are probably pretty good at self-regulating the bottom shell. And also it's pretty obvious. I would say the issue comes into play when you're trying to figure out the middle and the top shell. That's where the issue lies. You know, you played regularly versus, oh, I play regularly for like a couple years now. I think I'm pretty good at badminton. And I'm like kind of like that. There's like that little, should I go push a little bit more into like the next level, or should I just like just play casually, like regularly? And people, depending on what they want out of the game, are not so honest with themselves at that level.
I signed up for Green Shell because that was a description of me. I was playing every week, but I'd only really been doing it for 6 months to a year or something like that. I showed up for my first match, got absolutely fucking shit wrecked by someone who was sandbagging in a lower tier. And I guess for me, what I realized from that experience was that that's not...
Oh shit. There's a dude carrying and there's a dude not giving a shit. And the same thing goes on the other side. There's dudes carrying and there's dudes not giving a shit.
Not fun. I didn't have fun. Did they have fun? Like,
well, here's another issue. Fun is relative and completely subjective. Some people like pub stomping. All right? I mean, that's just the case. Some people actually like pub stomping. And, I mean, I don't really like pub stomping. I think that if you're like a high-skilled player, you should go against high-skilled players. But if you're just looking to chill out as a high-skilled player, you can't be like it's easier to regulate in real life things, like when you're like in person. Like it's easier to regulate taking it easy on someone. Like, you don't hit the thing as hard, the birdie as hard, you don't go for spikes as much, you don't go like full force. It's a little bit easier and it's a little bit more honest to like self-regulate physical things. But in a video game, there is no self-regulation of how hard you can like swing or shoot or do the movement thing. It's always 100% effort at all times. There's no like way in a video game to kind of take it easy. Like maybe you could kind of do that in a fighting game where you have like gigantic health bars, but in FPS it's like shoot or be shot. All right, that's it. It's binary. There is no middle of like, oh, I hit you in the toe. I only did like 5 damage. All right. Oh, maybe you can hit me back. I'll just AD straight. Maybe I'll do some fucking dog shit crouch spam rolls. Maybe you can't hit me. Oh my God. Maybe I'll turn around and you can shoot me in the back. That doesn't happen. Come on, man. That doesn't happen.
Like, honestly, okay.
And also, real sports, in video games, there are a bunch of random people trying to be influencers with TTV in their name, with YouTube in their name, with TikTok in their name, trying to make it big at all times. All right. In real life, in real sports, everybody doesn't have their YouTube and Twitch slapped on their head trying to make it big at all times. If you're going to play like a pickup game of soccer, football, baseball, basketball, whatever, badminton, or just swimming, you're just out there chilling, enjoying yourself. All right? There's no like, if someone wants to like try hard in like a real life sport, I mean, you just go and like let them do it. Like you're not like hurting or affecting anybody else really. If you want to do that, well then you sign up for like a public league or something. Because there's like other like-minded people like you. I mean, and that's where you do that.
Here's a good example. Would Magnus Carlsen have fun like destroying my son at chess?
No. Because in chess there's like, yeah, you could kind of go easy in that you could purposely do like stupid moves and just like, I don't know, because you're Magnus Carlsen, you could just like pull out a win even though you make like a bunch of stupid moves. But yeah,
you seen some of his, like, he puts a blindfold on and then plays 5 people at the same
That's
time?
totally different.
So sick. No, I know.
Because I'm
it's so
talking
sick.
about
Yeah, same thing in video games. People do challenges from I'm iron rank and I need to get to the best rank in the video game, doing only this gun or no shields or only melee or only grenades. That type of stuff. I mean, even then, I still wouldn't really condone it. I hate people that smurf. That's stupid to me. And they're only doing that merely for content, and you're like, while you're doing it, you're like ruining the experience of everybody else.
I'm talking
so
about
sick.
in what is supposed to be
I think it would be really
a
boring.
level
for him.
match.
I'm sure it would be.
And if he did get some kind of perverse pleasure out of that,
I doubt it.
would we think that that's cool or admirable?
No.
No, not really, but since that does not get views, so then would you also take the stance that doing like all these like pub stomping montages, or I only do this challenge to this max rank in a video game, those are also stupid? Because even if you agree with that, the views say otherwise. The general audience says otherwise. The massive amount of people that watch those type of videos say otherwise.
Would it be fun for, I mean, if you, and I'm not talking about him taking the time to give a tutorial on, you know, what he was doing and why. And I'm talking in competition, because we're talking about this in a competitive gaming context, right? Where people are competing to win. How could anyone look at that and go, yes, that is good and honorable and enjoyable? And I have always said, and this,
I think when it comes to competitiveness and just in general, in like conventional sports and video games and stuff like that, there is always this binary question. Do you care about being entertained, or do you care about competitive integrity? Those are two binaries on opposite sides of the spectrum, and then in the center there's like a gradient. And the goal of, you know, all of these leagues is to be kind of somewhere in the center. You know, complete, utter, what do you call it? Competitive integrity can be great and honorable, but it may not be the most entertaining thing. On the flip side, the most entertaining thing may not be the most have the most competitive integrity. So one of the goals of, you know, these league owners is to kind of have like a happy medium. You know, some things can be like entertaining, and then other things can be like, oh, we got to do this for competitive integrity and regulation and blah blah blah.
a lot of this was inspired by my experience in that first tournament, where someone who had absolutely no right to be in green shell, but it was self-assessed, right? So they just decided that they were going to be green shell because they want a medal, essentially, right? Is that medal valuable? I mean, we mock participation trophies, but you're basically self-opting into a participation trophy for yourself by like competing in the kids league. Like, what's wrong with you?
I think you have some long-term resentment over this this particular case.
Well, it's not the resentment. It's a desire to fix it.
No,
Like,
I know, I'm just bugging.
like I will tell people all the time, I would rather lose a match 25-23 than win.
You want good games.
21-4.
Yeah, so someone tried to bring.
Okay, so the thing with video games is the same thing. Do you want to be entertained versus how much competitive integrity do you want out of the game? So he just said that he would rather lose to like a good player than to be like tricked into being like being conceived like as good in a video game. So that kind of signals to me that he kind of cares about competitive integrity more, which is fine. But for the most part, I think most people would rather be entertained out of their video game or shooting game, FPS, whatever. Because if you go by that logic, then you'd have a ton of people, like most people would not stand to play a video game if they just kept on losing and losing over and over and over again at some FPS. All right. Some people have the nerve and the will and resolve to like get through that learning portion where you're just constantly getting like shot and shit on and movemented on and all that shit and get past it and like try to transcend and like go to that next level. But a lot of people don't. All right. And what happens to that player and relative to the game company? Well, they stop playing the game. They stop spending money on the game. They stop spending microtransactions and like all this other shit in the game. And they're just like a lost player. The goal of a video game company is to like make money and retain players. All right. They can't really do that when you have like everybody is like a high skilled player, just like shitting on all the new guys.
Bring up Fast Philly said some people do love that stuff. Remember Tarkov, and I don't necessarily think that's true for Tarkov. I understand what you're trying to get at, but like when I used to play, if you could tell, like you can see in Tarkov the level of the person that you took down. If they were a low level player, I wouldn't necessarily automatically do this, but I would. If they were a low level player, I would look at the kit that they brought in and be like, is this a low level player who's played a lot but just they didn't go super hard this season?
Yeah.
Or is this actually a new player? And if it was a new player, I'd throw all their stuff in a bush so they get it back in insurance. Because like I'm not like super proud of that W.
Huh.
You know?
Yeah.
I would say most people don't. I don't play Tarkov at all, but I would say most people don't even do that. That's like a very small percentage of people do that.
But I think sometimes like some things that I do like about not skill-based matchmaking is like if I think about playing TF2 most of these are going to come from TF2.
Sure.
But I think about playing TF2 back in the day, especially with really big lobby games. If it's like a 5 versus 5, I can't think of many scenarios where I liked non-skill-based matchmaking. But big lobby games, you'd find like the one good person on the other team. And even if you weren't doing that well, trying to like hunt that person down.
Yeah.
Had a very...
Yeah, I think I used to do this in Call of Duty and Halo. Yeah, I 100% did this. If I knew I was going to lose, let me at least take down the good player a couple times. Make myself feel good.
Deep level of satisfaction to it. Like maybe I'm not doing that great in the game, but if I can impact this game by taking down their star player every once in a while through like certain weird type of gameplay, then that's like really fun to me. I think there's emergent types of gameplay. I think there's emergent interactions that happen from mixing pot instead of skill-based matchmaking. And I think there's a little bit of forever treadmill that comes from skill-based matchmaking.
Sure.
That I think might be like part of this story is that 90% of players had a lower overall playtime when it wasn't skill-based matchmaking.
Yeah.
And I don't know personally that all of that is just because they enjoyed the game more. I would say that as much as I do think skill-based matchmaking is in general better, I suspect some of that increased playtime is because of the forever treadmill of I'm always slightly behind.
Mm-hmm.
Sure.
You never had a game where you were number one. You never like these things.
Yeah, and that's what I felt like whenever I played like a couple of the Call of Duties back in like 2019.
Really happen because the game is designed to not really allow that to happen.
Sure.
Yeah, and if you do pop off in a game like that, you can bet your sweet bippy that the next match you were going up against the sweatiest of sweats.
So I don't know. I understand why some people might think it's negative.
Yeah.
Personally, I think overall it is more positive.
I do see a lot of people talking about how, like, what if I, just want to relax and play a game for fun without trying too hard?
I would say don't play that video game with skill-based matchmaking. That's what I would say. Go play a different FPS. There's a ton of great other FPSs that offer fantastic single-player or even co-op experiences. Like, look at all of the shooting games, or like the shooting roguelike type games, or look at Warframe, or go play like a looter shooter. Go play like a Borderlands or Destiny or something like that. Ton of those games offer better single-player experiences than the casual mode of your favorite skill-based matchmaking FPS game.
And it's like, right, but the issue is that you're playing a competitive game.
Yes.
So,
and even Linus acknowledges that FPSs are competitive by nature, regardless of whether or not you're playing the ranked mode.
The other team, they don't have the luxury of deciding, oh, I'm down, I'll just try and win.
Yeah.
And so it's not about you. It's about everybody having an opportunity to win. And that to me, I mean, that's the foundational core of competition. If one side decides who's going to win, would you tune into a sporting event?
No, you wouldn't. And you know what that's called? It's called match fixing. And that happens. As much as you don't want to believe that happens, it happens.
Like,
I think that's why the TF2 examples stand out to me, is
Yeah.
because as much as I am definitely tryharding, because I just sort of do that all the time and everything, but in TF2 it is much more of like an arcade game with a huge lobby, because I'm used to like...
I would imagine when he says TF2, he's talking about Team Fortress 2 and not Titanfall 2. As much as that saddens me, because I played a lot of Titanfall 2, loved the game. Did not play any Team Fortress 2, but watch a couple videos. It does look like I would have liked it, but I didn't have a fucking PC back in the day, so yeah.
Like 16 versus 16 arcade style gameplay, and then that's where you're going to get a lot more of those emergent cases where you can like headhunt the top players and all this other type of stuff.
But in TF2, just through the sheer law of numbers, unless people are being complete,
and
jackasses,
team stacking,
and
it's going to average out a lot better.
The chances of it averaging out, it's also a more chaotic game.
Yeah.
There is absolutely skill in Team Fortress 2.
Totally.
But there's also absolutely stepping on
a lot of randomness, I would imagine, with 16v16.
A bomb, just because it just was flung across the map. It happens, right?
Yeah.
And so I think that TF2 is an example of a game where, as long as people are not maliciously, intentionally stacking the teams, then it's not nearly as much of an issue. But honestly, I'm so glad you brought that up, because we all know that team stacking is a dick thing to do.
Yes, it is a dick thing to do, but if you and your buddies are pretty good at a game and you just feel like playing each other, and you go pub stomping, yeah, that's a pretty dick thing to do, but I mean, people still do it for content for whatever reason. And like, he's just like going everywhere, like talk about a bunch of different topics, like team stacking. Man, I could probably talk about like a shit ton about team stacking, and how annoying it is that it's like, oh, we are like, let's say you have like an FPS game and like the top 100 players only play with the top 100 players versus you going into a solo queue game that matches you 3v3, and it is completely random who you get. Well, random in the sense that, at least there's skill-based matchmaking. And yeah, like whenever you team stack, you just build better communication skills and you understand somebody's movements so much better when you team stack, versus it's a completely different experience. Even at the tippy top level of, let's say that 100-player like chunk at the tippy top also has to queue with, like, let's say the 300 people that are like right below that rank, and they're all like mixed and matched in there. All right, that's a different experience for everybody, whether or not it's like a more competitively and has more competitive integrity. Who knows? That's like up for debate. And I don't know.
And essentially, when you argue against skills-based matchmaking, you're saying, well, I should be allowed to be on a stacked team.
Yeah. But nobody is arguing that skills-based matchmaking is bad for ranked. People are arguing that skills-based matchmaking is bad for the public version of their favorite game mode.
Yeah, I don't feel like it happened that much in TF2 though. I think across the board, I don't love it. But in certain games, like in COD, it probably does make sense. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think there's a very good argument against skill-based matchmaking in COD, but I do think there's other games where it's genuinely fun.
There's no way that I would play Halo Infinite without skills-based matchmaking. It would be a complete waste of time. A top-level player is on such a different level that they would just wipe the other team, grab the flag, drop it, wipe them when they respawn, and carry it back. Like, it's not... Are they having fun? And if they are, like, what's wrong with them? You know? I'm sorry. I definitely see how there are formats where skills-based matchmaking might not make that much sense. I mean, even, okay, coming back to Halo Infinite, the one semi-competitive game I guess I play that actually has what MMR, I guess is what.
Hopefully, Linus. Well, I doubt it. He's like a computer bro. I was gonna say, hopefully Linus plays Halo Infinite on controller, because Halo was a game designed around controller to have aim assist. And if he plays a Halo Infinite on M and K, damn dude, I'm sorry for you.
What's the player ranking?
It depends sort of on how it's being handled, but if you say MMR, most people know what you mean.
Yeah, so it's probably the one game I play these days that actually has like a persistent MMR that chases you across all the different formats. But if you're playing big team battle, yeah, I could see them playing a little faster and looser with it.
Yeah.
Because things are just sort of generally more chaotic. But if you're playing like a 4v4 format, one person being out of whack completely destroys the gameplay experience for everyone, including themselves, whether they realize it or not.
I just
like, again, nobody's arguing SBMM bad for ranked. Everyone's just arguing SBMM bad for casual.
Thought of another argument that might come up for the anti-skill-based matchmaking crowd is that some games do lock you out from being able to play with your friends if there's too much of a gap. I know that used to be a thing,
and that's a bummer, but like, the answer to that is just allow it.
The answer to that is go play a different game. Stop looking for one FPS to rule them all. Go do something else.
User servers, right? Like, the answer to that is not to not have
okay, user servers. Okay. I mean, yeah, that's great.
MMR and not have skills-based matchmaking.
In my opinion, that combination of dedicated user servers and skill-based matchmaking is the absolute prime.
That's the way to go.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying you shouldn't be allowed to play with your friends, or you shouldn't be allowed to. I mean, Luke and Joe and I would lobby up with my son when he's getting kind of sweaty, actually.
I was gonna say he's probably better now. Every time I play with him, he's a little better.
I know, but we would lobby up with him, and we would know that we're gonna have to carry him, and that the matchmaking is gonna be a little bit weird because I'm gonna go probably. Well, I'm all over the place. I'll be anywhere. I'll be anywhere from like sub 1-1 to like 4-1, depending on how things are going for me. Anyway,
genuinely pretty confusing.
Doesn't matter. The point is that Luke and Joe are both really good. I'm this X factor, and then my son's was gonna go like 1 in 15 or whatever. So we knew that was gonna happen. And I would never argue that you shouldn't be allowed to play the game you want to play it, but there's a time and a place, and you have to understand why these systems are in place, and that it's not about you. It's about creating an environment where everybody has a fair chance to win. And bad skills-based ranking, that sucks.
Yeah.
Like, if you've got skills-based matchmaking and you're being dumped time and time again into matches where you are getting absolutely just destroyed.
Usually for most skills-based matchmaking or engagement optimized matchmaking, the game realizes what is happening and they throw you a bone. They put you in a bot lobby and you get your confidence back so you don't quit the game.
It could be one of two problems. It could be that their skills-based ranking system is not very good, or it could be three problems. It could be that the servers are really light and that they just don't have a lot of options for matching things up.
That happens.
But problem number 3 is that you could have run into 3 assholes who are playing on Smurf accounts and are ruining the system for everyone.
Yeah.
So, to me, the problem so often is not the game, but the gamers.
Yeah.
I think if everyone in good faith engages in a skills-based matchmaking.
Yeah, but everyone doesn't engage in good faith. There's no shot you're getting 100% good faith rate on any of these FPS games, dude. 100% no.
System, I think it can work really well. I think you especially run into trouble if people are.
Yeah, and that's an ideal. And I think it should be welcomed to work toward an ideal, but that in reality, that is not the case.
Are not. I don't know, man. I feel like I'm gonna end up like lit up on r/COD or something like that over this, but I've had worse.
Maybe there's parts of the argument that we don't know. I don't know, but it seems pretty straightforward to me. I don't know. Something I like. So if there isn't dedicated servers and you're still just using matchmaking on both sides, something I like is when there's ranked and the rank is very much in your face. And when there isn't ranked and it's still skill-based matchmaking, I prefer it if you can find it, if it's possible.
Yep.
Sure, don't show the up and down after every game. Don't make it a center feature thing. But if I can like go into my profile and find it somewhere, that's kind of cool. Because like,
oh, doesn't League kind of do that with like match history on like some of their like websites and shit? It's like, oh, you see like the win match, it's green. You see the loss match, it's red, and like the gold disparity and the items of everybody and shit like that. I mean, doesn't League of Legends kind of do something like that? Or are you talking about seeing like the actual bullet points of like what defines your MMR? Because that's never going to happen.
For me, I would like to know if I'm getting better, if that makes sense.
Yeah, and I mean, for me, I did find it frustrating that when I signed up.
Well, if you want to know if you're getting better, do the ranked mode in your game. Just do the ranked mode. Whether or not you team stack or solo queue is a whole different argument, but the general accepted thing that defines whether or not you are getting better at a game is the main game ranked game mode of that game.
Up for playing ranked, you know, that because when I was in that mood, I was playing ranked. But when I signed up for quick play or whatever else, it turned out I was playing ranked as well. Like, I think a lot of this could be solved by these companies just having a separate game mode that is skills-based ranking or not skills-based ranking. I mean, providing player choice is never a bad option, but what I suspect that people would discover is these high-skilled players that want to go dunk on noobs in the not skills-based ranking mode are going to discover that none of those people want to be in there with them.
Like, I used to sweat super.
Oh, yeah. That is 100% true, man. I am in 100% agreement.
Hard in League of Legends. And something that I would do is in the non-ranked mode. Is that a thing? Pretty sure that's a thing. Am I tripping? No. Yeah, there's ranked and not ranked. Okay, it's been a long time. I haven't cared about League in like a decade. But when I used to sweat in League, I would only play very specific characters in ranked, and I would try really hard.
Yeah.
And then in not ranked, maybe sometimes I'd play those characters, but I wouldn't really be trying as hard, or I'd be experimenting with new item builds or something. Usually I'd be doing something that wasn't exactly the same as what I'd be doing in ranked.
Yeah, I think that's how most people play League of Legends, no?
Trying a new item build, trying a new opener,
and then once you get kind of confident with your like public version of your character with the item build, then you can like attempt to bring it into ranked. I think that's how a lot of people play League, no?
Laning partners, trying a new lane even, maybe even going as far as trying entirely new characters. Like, I don't want to be evaluated at the same level as I was in ranked. So I do appreciate that as well. Who's your main? I used to call her Ashy, and then I heard people that run the game say her name, and now it's Ash, apparently.
Oh man, Luke. That's a silent E.
I liked Ashy more. Before that name.
Ashy. All right.
Oh, that's funny. Oh man, Ashy. What the heck, dude? Oh man. Oh well, this is a cool little segment of the podcast and whatnot. It was pretty cool. Good video. Just talk about SBMM and whatnot, and a lot of the points I agree with, but you know, there's certain things or I think the way I think and whatnot. But good video. Love to see them coming. Keep them coming. Other than that, that's pretty much it for me. I'll catch you guys on the next one. All right, later.